Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's November 16th and we're going to do another garden tour. We're going to start up here at the Victory Garden. We got the Shu Choi. Looks like we got a red wash there that's hanging out. Might be just a little too cool for it. I think we're still in the 60s today. We're not going to get real warm, but a lot of these plants like it cool. Our broccoli here is doing good. It should hang in there. Now next week we do have some colder weather coming. We got a few days, maybe 40 and 39 for a low. I was talking about this cabbage in the last video, and I had wrongly called it. This was a new one I was trying. This is Perfection, I believe is the name of it. I don't see a tag right off, but I think that's what the name of this new one was. And it's starting to form its little head. Won't be long. We have our Radicchio. That's what it was, and it's doing good. It's coming along. We've got it kind of scattered in here with our Perfection because if you remember, we lost some of it. Down here we have some Michihili and some more Michihili, and then we have our few cauliflower plants. Now we did have 4, but one of them decided it didn't want to be around, or an insect got it. Our green beans are looking a little rough, but they're still producing. They've got a lot of little ones on there. We've been picking just a few. They've kind of went through their main flush of green beans, and they're hanging in. They've got some browning of the leaves from when that last freeze come through, and we covered them. That's where the leaves were touching the top, but they're going to hang in there and do okay. We have a few more Michihili here, and then some bok choy, and we have a few tomato plants left out here. The freeze didn't get them. Some of them did, and we're going to come in and we're going to take out a few, like this one here. It's not doing very good, but these others are actually still blooming. Now I don't know if they're going to see tomatoes, and I don't know if they'll have enough time. This one here actually has one little tomato there, but it's not doing too well. Our early peas, or green peas, or English peas, however you want to call them, they're doing good. They're growing on up, and they should survive, hopefully, unless we get some really bad freeze out here. Now I did pick one tomato today out here, and we've got another one. Of course, it's hard to tell unless you get a hand down there to see how big it is. It's decent, and there's a little small one up in there, but they're making a few. Right here we have our Hilton cabbage. It's doing pretty good, but a lot of these plants here are good and green, and they're hanging in there. But the rest of this row is pretty much done for the year, and we're going to take it out, get prepared for something else. We'll go in the little greenhouse here. Now we've got the greenhouses closed up. It's been cold, but you can see our celery down here. It's doing good, and our potatoes are hanging in there. Now we're doing good for some mushrooms. There's some decent sized mushrooms coming up in here, but we might get enough of these German butterballs to eat a few and take and have some to plant. They're not going to grow real fast. Temperature in here right now, of course, I don't know why it keeps wanting to change itself to Celsius. Makes it hard for me. It's 13 Celsius. It's 64 right now, because it's just about basically what the temperature is outside. But we'll button her back up. It really doesn't hold a lot of heat. It's actually just as cold inside, except during the day. If it can get some sun, it'll heat up in a hurry. We'll go around this side of the greenhouse, this tour. And over here, we have our collards. They're hanging in there, and our eggplants. Now, they're doing pretty good, and they're still growing eggplants. We harvest every Friday, and this is kind of what's grown through the week. We have another variety right here, and I can't remember what the other. I do know that first one's Black Beauty, but I had two varieties down here. We had a round one, which you can see one of them down there on the ground that we left, but they are we took those plants out. They weren't doing real good. Now we got our early Jersey cabbage down here, and you can see it's starting to do good to form heads. Now I do put this in here kind of tight, which it works out real well for me. Don't have a problem with a bunch of weeds and such as that. Over here we have our Natapinos. They're still producing. We've been harvesting some, but the plants are just about spent. Down here we have our red cabbage, and our little transplants we put in afterwards. They're coming along good, and we're starting to form heads here. Now, red cabbage is always, and this is acre red cabbage, and they're usually really slow to grow. Now, we do have a few watermelons out here in this patch. You can see it's all pretty much done in. We picked a few today. Of course, they went to the chickens. They weren't ripe. It takes a lot of heat normally. Now, we have been having a little pest problems, and I used some neem oil today and spinosad on my greens. They decided they wanted something to eat. Now, this cilantro, it can still be harvested. I'll say and you can recognize when you start seeing the leaves come up like this, and you start seeing holes come in them like these here are good solid leaves. But when they start spreading out and they start changing the way that they look, this is bolting up, going to seed. And so if you're wanting coriander seed, that's what you would do, is just let it go. Our beets are doing real good. They've got nice big green. They don't have very big beets on them yet, but they're coming along. Both our red and our golden beets. Everything else down here is kind of doing pretty good as far as the rutabagas. We've got some that were newer that's in here, and the ones on the end are bigger, and so they're actually forming them. Now the peppers they're pretty much dying out. Now we do have on the end down there, you can see some ghost peppers, but they're pretty much starting to drop their leaves, or Hatch green chilies, or they're not getting real big because cooler weather, but they still are producing. We lost all our cucumbers in here. Looks like we had a few hang in there, but they're kind of shriveling some, so they're not going to make it. Now the okra is still blooming, and it's hanging in there, but it's not producing. We haven't picked okra off of here in about 3 days, so it's probably going to be ending its season, and we'll be taking it out. Same thing here with our bell peppers. They're looking terrible. They have a few little ones, but they're not blooming, so they're done for the season. And the same thing with our banana peppers. Now we do have about 3 beds here that we have empty. We might get something planted in there. Got a few cell trays that's got some seedlings in them right now. We'll go around over this way. These radishes, these are Crimson Giants. They'll put up a real big radish. Now these right now are kind of small, and that's the way I've been picking them. They're really a good radish, but they take a long time to mature. Now our carrots, as you can see on this end, they're really sparse and thin. I'm not going to worry about them. I'm going to leave them like that. And our other ones here, and I have to go back to see what variety, if I even noted it. But they're doing good, and they're not too thick, so they should go ahead and come on just fine. All our onions that we've grown from seed and got out, they're all doing real well. Our garlic, we got one variety here and another one down past it, and then our elephant garlic right here. They're all doing good. We've got more onions over here. These are taking hold. We've got about a half a row of onions right here that they're still small. They're the red ones. They take longer. Our habaneros are ripening up a bunch. They're not blooming, but they're still ripening, and we're harvesting plenty of them. And the new batch of cilantro is doing real good, and our green onions are doing real good. So the cilantro shouldn't be long, about maybe 3 weeks. It'd be harvest size, but we have plenty in other areas, and we've been harvesting green onions for the market. Now our jalapenos, these are ready to go. They ain't getting big at all, and they're as you can see, they're yellow and they're fixing to die back. Now we did plant a little batch of French breakfast radishes. If you've never tasted them, they're kind of a mild sweet radish. They're really good. Now these are Crimson Giants here too. We harvested a few. Our Lacinato kale is doing real good. And right over here we have, you say rhubarb chard or Vulcan chard. It's a red chard. It's coming along good since it's been put out. And our over here are spinach. Now we've got 3 different varieties in here. We've got just a little break in the row where we did each variety, and so we could kind of test and see which one did the best. Our cauliflower is looking nice. It's also planted in kind of tight, and that works out good. Now over here, and I did take and get my neem oil and spinosad after this. I have something eating up my broccoli plants and cabbage plants that's over here. So we'll see if that don't take care of it. This here is some more gypsy broccoli, and it's doing nice. This was put out a few weeks after the other, maybe 3 weeks. And let's see, we'll go around here. Our chives, we need to get to splitting these up. I mentioned that in my other video, and of course we finally got our thyme in the ground. It's been a while since we've had thyme. We lost our other batch. Now in the greenhouse here, And I got a thermometer here by the door, which is 64. It's nice and humid. In here, it's pretty much close to 100 on the humidity. The banana trees, they're doing great. This row here, we just redid a big portion of it. Took the cilantro out of here, and we put in some more spinach. We've got some I can remember what's what. These are some herbs here that it's not going to be long. They'll be ready to put out. We have another batch of early Jersey cabbage, and these are my rhubarb plants. I need to get them potted up, and then we have another batch of cilantro that's going to be ready to go. In the greenhouse, our watermelons are doing fine. They're slow to grow. There's a few off in there. The tomato plants, and it's usually easier to see from the other side because the sun makes the leaves heavier here, but we've got some nice tomatoes. We have a little bit of lemongrass in here, and we put our sage in here because we want it to go ahead and grow up bigger and not get messed up from the freeze. Here's some of my early fig trees and a few of our citrus that we've potted up, and you can see some of these lemons are getting pretty good size. It'll be a while before they ripen, but they're going. I have a few blueberry plants I need to put out. The deal is it's done pretty good. I finally weeded in here and got all the basil that was mixed in there with it. We got a few more tomatoes over here, so we're trying our late tomatoes this year. We'll see if we can get them to ride on through the cold weather. Watermelon's still blooming up a storm. Over here we've got a little bit of radicchio, and then we've got some Michihili. This cilantro we're going to take out. Now this one's going to seed, and I'm going to let it go to seed. As you might have knew earlier, I couldn't find my saved seed, so I have to get some more going. We have our rosemary in here. We potted it up into 2-gallon pots. We're just going to keep them in the greenhouse until we figure which spot we're going to put them in. We have a little Hilton cabbage. We've been harvesting some of it. We always harvest it small. And we've got some bok choy that we've been harvesting. Our parsley is just now got big enough that we'll start harvesting it. Now our mushrooms, no sign yet, but we're still waiting. Hopefully it won't be long. I'm starting to see some fungus there, and I don't know if that's from them or something else. It's where it's starting to come out. I have to see which one of those it is and see. We've got a little batch of musclin mix, and we've got our orange and lemon tree. Now we just harvested our first orange. They're starting to turn. Some of the lemons are ripening, and so we've been harvesting a few of them. But anyway, that's where we're sitting. Our Roselle hibiscus, it's blooming up a storm. Let's go down and take a look at it. We're down here at our Roselle. We normally don't do this in our garden tour, but we are. Now we have been having some blooming going on. There's quite a bit of blooms, which they normally close up in the evening, but they're definitely blooming a lot. A few of them are already spent their blooms and they're starting to form their seed pods. It won't be maybe a couple weeks and we'll be down in here and harvesting these. Now that cold weather, when it comes, of course we got the sprinklers set up here and they should take care of it fine. But we should get a good harvest of calyxes this year. So that's going to be great. But anyway, that's where we're sitting with our garden right now. It's really nice growing in the fall. It's cooler. And of course, there's a lot of crops that you can grow. As you see now, I know when you get up north, I feel sorry for y'all. You have to do your growing inside or try to heat your greenhouse or something like that. But down here, that's one thing I love about our weather. It might get hot in the summer, but we do have a good long season. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of my videos, of course, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, select all, give her a big thumbs up, and share this video. Enjoy that gardening experience.